Imagine walking into your boss's office and giving notice because your writing has become your primary revenue stream. Or your podcast is successful enough that you can quit your day job. Or maybe having your marketing on autopilot so you can spend your time on the art career you love rather than on marketing. Are you a creative person who's great at what you do, but marketing makes you freeze? You're not alone. I help passionate, purpose-driven creatives overcome fear, find their brand voice, and build a marketing strategy that works for them. Oh yeah, I also make it easy and painless. It's never too late to grow the business you've been dreaming about. Book an introductory call with me, Rob Southgate, at southgatesmallbusiness.com today. And let's take the pain out of marketing together. Welcome to Ink Blots, the show where I interview authors about their lives, writing, and the books they love. Be sure to follow the Ink Blots podcast on Substack. Not only can you listen to the latest episodes, but our Substack also has interview transcriptions and links to books and other items that we talk about on the show. If you like what we're doing, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. It really helps us and our sponsors out. Oh, and leave comments. We really do read and respond to every one. Now, let's get on with the show. Welcome to Ink Blots. I'm your host, Rob Southgate. Today I have author J.B. Moonstar with me, and we're shifting gears a little bit. This is hardly going to be a horror author, which we seem to have had an abundance of recently. Maybe this will start a new track for us, but J.B., welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you on.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So, JB, here's how we're going to start. I want people to hear who you are, give them a little background, and then we'll get into your books, okay? Let's hear tell the people about yourself.
Okay. I live in Florida. I've been living here since I was a teenager. And so I love wildlife and everything and all the nature. There's a lot of nature in Florida. And I know when I was 20 years ago, when I was raising, the hurricanes came through. In 2004, we had 3 hurricanes in 6 weeks, and I raised several orphaned squirrels that we found on the ground afterwards. So, I really enjoyed that. Now they live in my backyard. That they're descendants, I would say.
I was going to say they really lasted.
And they come when I call, and I feed them peanuts. So
very
good
sweet.
on that. So, and I spent my life in the legal profession, so I write books to get away from the real world. And I write children's books to hope to show them in a gentle way, I guess, that nature needs our help to survive. And that's where we are. So.
Well, and you've got a tinge of fantasy to your books as well, which is
definitely. They are all fantasy books because I have dragons and unicorns and mermaids and magic potions,
yes.
But they're eco-fantasy books because my dragons and mermaids rescue animals that are endangered by humans, either through trapping or, pollution or things like that.
Sure.
And my dragons are vegetarian, so you don't need to kill them before the end of the book. So
they're like Bruce in Finding Nemo. Fish are friends, not food.
Fish are friends, not food. Now my mermaids, I actually used that thing. I had to find a basis for mermaids to, they have kelp farms and seaweed farms and things like that. And that was one of them. There was a giant ghost net. I don't know if you know what those are.
No, what's a ghost net?
Nets that people throw away. Yeah, they're nets that fishermen throw away if they're not supposed to be fishing somewhere. And they still catch fish and kill them. But nobody, they just get caught in the nets and then they die.
Yeah.
And they just go throughout the seas. Yeah, so that was what the main thing that little Kimmy had to face when she was in her book.
Wow, that's horrible. Well, see, this is what's so important about books like what you write, not only from an eco standpoint, but educating through story. Mm-hmm. In our house, our daughter turned 18. She's now off to college. We still have a full shelf of kids' books because we find it so important. The lessons, the ideas, and like you just taught me something that I didn't know. I didn't know about ghost nets. That's important to understand.
Yeah, it's real important to understand what's happening with the oceans. And also when I did a menteeship when I was researching all of the, with creature conserve. And in that menteeship, I also learned about something called a pangolin, which nobody knows about usually in the United States because they're not here, but they're the most illegally trafficked animals in the world. And they are all on endangered species lists. And some countries have, they say it's illegal to trap them, eat them, catch them, but then they just import them from other countries after they're dead. So,
but we don't have them here. Do we eat them, and are they used here?
No, it's mostly an African and Asian animal.
Okay.
And China uses their scales for supposed medicine, but they've never been. They're fingernail type things, scales, fingernails.
Yeah.
It's really, really cute. Yeah, I think I have a picture. I can show you what one looks like. A book. I don't know if you've heard of Jane Goodall.
She's course.
A famous. So pangolins look like. Let me see if I can get through there.
Oh, cute.
That little thing. That's a baby pangolin. In her drawing.
Yeah.
It's like a mix between an armadillo and an anteater. And they have scales all over their body. And so
now are they featured in any of your books?
So that's a book I'm working on right now.
Okay, that answered my question.
Yeah, I'm working on one right now where we're going to go rescue some. Yeah, I'm working on that, and they're going to rescue some macaques, or however you say that, in the Southeast Asia country. I never mentioned the countries that are being sold for as captive monkeys for drug testing, but they're actually captured in the wild and shipped to other countries for drug testing.
So it sounds like when you're writing your books, you do quite a bit of research to lead into it. Was environmental issues, animal protection, was this always a big passion for you?
I really like animals. I don't think I could ever go hunting. I mean, I don't think sportsmen hunting for sport, just to kill something, it's very unsportsmanlike because, they have families and homes and everything too. Just to go shoot something so you can hang it on the wall just gets me kind of upset.
Yeah.
Like elephants, they go and shoot elephants with the tusks, and lions just so they can hang the lion head on their wall. And, they just leave the piece they don't want, so you cut the head off and leave the rest there. So, anyway, we won't go there.
No. Well, I mean, I find it interesting because it has bled over into your books. So when you started this journey of writing these books, and in fact, I should talk about it right now. We have two different series that you've got. The Etruria Chronicles, which has, 11 books in that series?
It has 11 books so far, right?
So far, yeah.
So far.
And the Mermaids of Crystal Cay. Now that one, 2, correct?
New, and there's 2 books in that one, right? That came up from so far, and that started, the precursor to that was an Etruria book with Michelle and the Missing Manatee, and that book was actually based on a painting my daughter did, and I based the whole story on that. And I really loved it. So Michelle is now the host of the Mermaid series, like. She's a part-time mermaid because she has a lucky amulet that she can change back and forth to a mermaid if she wants to.
Very fun. So is your daughter a big mermaid girl?
No, but she's an artist.
Okay.
She's 28 now. And she does this. She painted it for Mermaid. There's a artist thing that they do on Instagram when they do Mermaid, and everybody paints mermaids all month. And so I have a picture. I have the book here. It's really gorgeous. Let's see. Is this okay that I do this?
It's 100% fine. Oh, so pretty. Yes.
She did a beautiful job.
Yeah.
And so I said, can I use that for my book and use it for the cover? And she said, yes. So she was very nice about that.
Well, you had an in with her,
Yeah, kind of sort of,
yes. Yeah.
She does all my covers. They're really pretty.
Your covers are really great. And I love how they, I always talk about marketing, and there's an integrated marketing aspect to this with your branding where when I see your covers, I know immediately it's a JB Moonstar. And I also love that I can tell the difference between your series, because obviously you've got the Mermaid on the Mermaids of Crystal Cay. but there's like in the Etruria Chronicles, we've got all sorts of animals and things going on, and I can tell immediately that's the series that I'm looking at. Even though there's a mermaid in one of the covers.
This is the latest one. It just came out, Sarah and the Moonlight Rescue. Every one of my books has the moon on the top. Because Etruria lives on the moon, and if they can't find a safe haven for the animals on Earth, they take them to the moon. And he's actually spent a couple thousand years developing caverns under the moon that have water. They grow plants. They have sunlight through refracted things coming in through the roofs. And so they have a guardian up there, and he beams them back and forth from Earth to the moon. So
wonderful. So what age range would you say your books are for?
They're for 7 and up. I still have fun reading them. So.
Well, yeah, sure. But it's kind of that grade school 7 and up range.
Yeah. For. Right. Yeah. They don't have the 3 things that adult books have. They don't have bad language. They don't have graphic violence, and they don't have male-female interaction.
Sure. Although you could, I mean, a creative person could take their pen and draw some of that stuff in. I mean, if they wanted. Yeah.
Okay.
Write a couple of swears in there. They're like, look, it's for adults. No, I'm kidding. Your books are just very sweet, and I love the theme that you have going. Now, are you active in like the animal conservation?
Well, I'm a member. I mean, I'm a member of some for 20 years or more, like Defenders of Wildlife and Nature Conservancy and things like that. So, I guess I'm supporting them by getting them, paying a yearly membership fee and whatever, and sometimes a little more, if I need to. So.
Well, I mean, the fact that you're writing these books and building awareness also, I think, is very supportive of that. Because what I've read of your books, I haven't felt like they were heavy-handed. I felt like I was reading a fantasy story, but it was getting the message across, which is key, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do in the background. Yeah.
And I think you're very
effective. My dragons are humans. They have a magic potion. They can turn into humans for a week at a time. And that's how they come down to Earth and meet their 10 to 11-year-old heroines. But they can turn into a dragon if they want to. And so.
Fun. Now, is there going to be a dragon series in your future? Strictly dragons?
The Etruria series is mostly dragons. I think the only one that had a mermaid was Michelle, because I love the picture. I had to write it. Okay. Knocker's in that one too. He's in there. He runs up on it's the middle of a hurricane. It takes place. And he runs up on the deck in the middle of a hurricane because she hears sirens going off in her backyard on deck, and she can't figure out what they are. And he runs up and sees, she sees something underneath the dock. And so she wants to know why he's there. But it's interesting. And then they find a baby manatee under there. And so they call the mermaids, who have been calling out sirens, because mermaids can't speak human. Only if you have a special coin, a translation stone that Knocker carries around with him, can Michelle understand what he's saying. So they rescue the manatee and a bunch of other manatees who get caught when a bridge falls down. So
very nice. So who would you say are your inspirations as far as writing? Like who have you read that made you go, I have to write these stories?
Oh, well, I do read the nature magazines that come in to base my stories, but I like to read the old stories, like all the Agatha Christie stories, and I read them several times. There's always tricks and turns that you miss the first time, so I read them several times.
Sure.
And I also, a while ago, I read all the Xanthe series. That's not a kid's book, even though, you might think it is. It's definitely PG-13 and above. So I thought maybe I can write something that kids can enjoy, because my daughter when she was in 4th grade, she was reading at the 10th grade level. And I just didn't want her to read 10 books, the young adult books that were out there these days.
Right.
So
not yet. Right.
Not in 4th grade. So, I had dragons and unicorns and magic and things, but, an exciting adventure that kept out the stuff that you don't want 4th graders to read. So that was the Jenna book. And then and the Russ book, which is the first one in the series, is based on, in Jenna's second book, her grandfather moves in, and his name is actually Russ. So we go back in time to the 1960s when Russ was a teenager, and when he first met Ituria and Knocker and went to the moon, and he got to see all the stuff on the moon because he had to rescue them. That was the hidden voice. And it's a voice only he can hear on the moon. No one else can figure out what's going on.
Oh, interesting.
Because there's no humans on the moon. They can't. And the translations don't translate from human to non-human. So it couldn't translate this. I don't want to really reveal
don't spoil
what the hidden voice is, but
don't spoil anything here.
It worked.
So when you meet fans, especially it's going to be kids mostly, but when you meet fans, do they ever surprise you with how they interpret what you've written?
I don't know. I have fun books. One guy told me that he was glad that all my chapters were all the same size because I try and make them the same wording for each one, same amount of words, so they're all the same size. Because his mom only reads them one chapter a night, and he wants to make sure that they're all the same size.
That way he can make sure he gets his full time in. I love that.
Right.
That is really cute.
Sure. So, and that helps me focus on keeping, you have 20, 25 steps to get from the beginning to the end, and each one is in each chapter. And it always ends on a little bit of a cliffhanger because that makes you want to turn the page to go to the next book.
Right.
So,
yeah, it reminded me with all the podcasters in my network, we had a guy one time that reached out to Jesse, who I think you actually interviewed with Jesse at one point, or you were supposed to. Jesse Jackson. And Jesse had a guy that reached out and he did the same kind of thing. He said, I love that you keep the time of your episodes to whatever it was, 25 minutes or 23 minutes. Jesse wasn't doing that on purpose. It just kept happening. Mm-hmm. But this guy said, I love it. He goes, it's the exact amount of time it takes me to leave my house, my dog to take a poop, and me to bring him back. I'm like, okay, so the poop timing is something very interesting.
Very, very good. Very good.
So that's pretty funny. So as a writer, as you're writing these stories, I find this just interesting because when you're writing this type of thing, like a younger book, they tend to be a little bit shorter. Do you find yourself more of a plotter or a pantser when it comes to this?
It depends. I know in Taylor in the Final 9, I wrote that in about 3 weeks because Taylor and Megan really wanted to have a book together, the writers in your head.
Yeah.
They just do it and say and I was just there to take notes, so
yeah,
that was just see what happens. Sometimes I have to have I have to have the ending, like we have to rescue the tiger cubs from the poachers, so how they get there, I try and pretend I'm one of the people and see how it goes. And if, one time I tried to write things, differently and I had to start all over again so I just let them write the story and I just sit back and type it. And so I guess
you're a
pantser
then.
Yeah.
I mean, when people ask it, I always find it fascinating, but I don't think anybody is purely one or the other because if you're a plotter, you still take turns here and there. And when you're a pantser, like you said, you've got to have your ending in mind.
You have to I have like 1 or 2 sentences per chapter, but then I let the guys fill it in, the girls, whoever's in the book.
You just talked about the characters talking to you. Do the characters talk to you a lot?
They get mad if I don't do what they want to do. If they don't do what they tell me to do, the story breaks and I have to go back and just throw out the whole thing and start over again. So, because they have something in mind and in the end it comes out, but I don't know what it is sometimes because I know I was writing Jen in the Eyes of Fire and I got to a point where, okay, everything's set. Everything's in a big mess. What are we going to do? And I couldn't figure out how we were going to get out of it. And she said, no, this is what you got to do. Because he was going to kill Russ with a knife. And I had to jump in there. Jenna had to go in there and stop him somehow. So we ended up enlisting the aid of a skunk and a raccoon and bringing him. We tricked him into, and he ended up turning into a tree in the end. This is the bad guy. We don't kill people in our book.
Right.
We turn them into other things or
That might
if
make
they
it
want
hard
move
for
on.
them to stab somebody with a knife if they're a tree, but you don't
Yeah,
kill
we
them.
just give them a magic tree thing and they turn into a tree at the end. But you got to get it in their mouth without them hurting you. So
That could be a trick.
that can be a trick. Yes. So,
Yeah.
and you can't do it when you're a wolf. Jenna actually is the only one who actually turns into another creature on her own. So Jenna started out, that was the first book I wrote when my daughter was 4. And so what I had done was 10 years later, I took that and I tried to make a series out of it. So that's why Russ is in there in the first book, because that takes you back to 1965 when they were crashing things into the moon and they crashed some of Ituria's walls. And that's how the creature that was hurting the plants and stuff got out. So, so Jenna, she is magic herself. So she can change. She learned how to change into a wolf and back again. And she knows how and why she has to emotionally be able to do it so people don't catch her.
Very
She's
interesting.
rescuing people.
Very
the other
interesting.
ones, yeah, like Taylor, the first Taylor book, Taylor has, and I didn't write this, he wrote it, that he has a physical impairment that makes him hold on to a bicycle when he's walking on the road. He can't ride the bicycle, but his legs aren't strong enough for him to walk by himself. He made that up. I did not make that up. But he got turned into a bird because birds are much lighter and they don't need the leg strength. So he turned into a hawk. And that's how he took Knocker to where the red wolves were trapped. So, and then he rescued the red wolves. So,
do you do any type of resources with this stuff? You're talking to somebody who we homeschooled our daughter, and we loved the resources that would be, you'd read the book and then there are the discussion questions, and then the information. Do you ever do anything like that for homeschoolers?
well, in the back of the book, there's questions about the book, and then there's questions about the situation that's described in the book, like on the moon one, the one with Russ, discussing the moon, and that people are actually discussing moving to the moon and building houses in the caverns of the moon. And I put, well, just remember, Ituria was there first. So there's got some caverns up there.
Right.
But I do have the book club questions in the back, and 1 or 2 of them deal with, what would you do if, I'm trying to think of some of the questions, but of course the smallest long tree is up in Alaska, where it grows sideways. It's only this tall, but it grows out as far as one of the 20, 30 feet tall trees because the wind would cut it down. I think that was in the Russ one too, but I asked him, why are the predators needed to keep an ecosystem viable, and I do cite my sources for some of the books, where I got the information from for the moon, for the tigers. I put it in the back in my notes from the author so that they can go look it up if they want
I love
to know
that.
where I got the information from, because I'm not making most of mine, except for the dragon and the mermaid, and it's based on true life. It's based on the nature books that's really happening these days. Like Sarah and the Moonlight Rescue is about people stealing wild baby cubs, killing the mom, tiger cubs, and then putting them on a tiger farm and raising them and claiming, then killing them and calling them wild tigers because they get a lot more money if it's a wild tiger.
Sure.
Liver or nail or whatever they want from it. So that's what they're doing in the Moonlight Rescue, is rescuing some cubs that are being kidnapped from, their mom. And actually she's alive in this one. And she comes back. Her name is Katrina.
Oh,
so.
Okay.
She's not happy. She's not happy when the translation stone and the poacher is yelling at her, "Those are my tigers, give them to me." And she walks up and says, "Those are my tigers," So anyway.
Do you feel, I'm going to shift gears a little bit. Do you feel that, because you have transitioned into being a writer, do you feel that writing, especially in the avenue that you're writing, do you think it has changed you in any way?
It gives me a way to express emotions that I get when people go out there and just kill something just to kill it, and what the animals, I try to show it from the animals' point of view. We talk to the animals talk to Knocker. So it's basically stories from the animals' point of view. So you understand that this is their kid. They don't want you to kill them. And the birds, steal their eggs. Those are their children. They're not just eggs that the poachers would be stealing. And that was in Jen and the Secret Cave. That's where they rescued Megan. She's a dragon who spent 350 years in a cave. And she's my alter ego, Megan is.
Okay.
And,
so now when people are reading it, they know who Megan is.
Nobody knows. Yeah. Well, it's only in the books. Yeah. So she does not like people who are mean to animals. So, yeah. And she's as strong as a dragon, even though she's like a 12-year-old girl. So she can.
So has that given you anything back? Like, have you found other strength because of writing Megan?
I think so. Megan is actually a nickname for my mom, which is really interesting. Russ is my dad's middle name, and Megan, my mom's name, was Margaret. And I didn't know Megan was a nickname for Margaret.
Oh, interesting. So you did not plan that?
No. So now I have my mom and dad in my book, so it makes me feel happy. So.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Like they're still there,
That's very sweet.
Yeah.
So shifting gears again, because we're going to run out of time, and I do have other questions I want to ask. So I know I ask you like kind of what inspired you, but if I had to have you name, and it doesn't have to be children's, okay, the top 3 authors. I know you said Agatha Christie. Right now, who would you say are your top 3 favorites?
Oh gosh, that's hard.
It's a terrible question.
It is, because
I told you I was going to be kind and gentle on this, and yet I ask a terrible question. You could framework it in like children's authors. You could framework it as favorite authors of yours. Doesn't matter what they are.
Well, Diana Wren, she does. She's doing some books. She's great. I met her at the Creature Conserve. She was actually my mentor.
Okay, wonderful.
The Creature Conserve, and she's great. She does books with a purpose. She calls it mystery with a purpose, and she does like turtles, and owls and things like that in the neighborhood of people, and writes a story around them like I do. She doesn't have any fantasy creatures, but that's okay. It's really good mystery stories, and you have to find out, and it deals with children, so it's children appropriate. So yeah, she's one of my favorite ones too. So I would go with her.
Okay.
So
I'll give you Agatha Christie. Give me one more.
Okay. Well, like I said before, the Piers Anthony books, I do like them, but they are not children's books. No. So they are definitely PG-13 or above, and I wouldn't recommend them for children. They're very good. I mean, and I like how they span centuries, just like my books will, because my Knocker dragon is 465 years old. And he was rescued as a baby by Ituria. And that's where the moon came from. We call it the starship, the starfish thing, because I don't know if you heard the old story by Melampus about the starfish. They're walking, they find all these starfish on the beach, and he throws them back when he finds them. And Ituria asks him, well, why do that? In the big scheme of things, you can't pick up every starfish on the beach and rescue it. And he says, but for those I do, it means everything. So that's why he does. So if we can, that's the whole plot of the book, is that these are Ituria's starfish projects, and he's rescuing everybody he can. Like he rescued Knocker, and Knocker is one of his starfish projects, that he rescued him from humans killing the mom. They killed Knocker's mom 400 some years ago, and brought Knocker to the moon. And now Knocker is his first guard, which he does whatever, he's second in command in Ituria.
That's beautiful. That's so fantastic. Okay, JB. Let's say a couple of things up front here. One is you can order, when JB has a new book, you can pre-order at fourhorsemanpublications.com, and you get 15% off when you order directly from Four Horsemen Publications. That's your publisher. And I believe it's 10% off any order. So if you want to buy any of the books that are not on pre-order, I believe it's 10% off at Four Horsemen as well, which that's always fun to get a little discount. And the reason I really promote buying it directly from the publisher is JB actually makes a little extra. The publisher makes a little extra instead of Amazon getting everything and you getting pennies.
Right.
So I do, but I understand some people do shop Amazon, but if you, and this is available there, but if you want to support the author more directly, right from the publisher is the way to go.
Thank you.
As far as reaching you, what is the best way for people to engage with you?
I do have a website, and you can text me from there or email me from there.
Okay.
I do have Instagram and Facebook. I've been away from it for a little while because the state of the union these days, I can't get on.
It's too hard, right?
Right now. But I would be glad if anybody went to my website and sent me an,
And what's your website?
Is jbmoonstar.com.
Wonderful. And I'll put that in the show notes as well.
Okay.
I'll also put your social links in there, but just know that that's not the best place to talk to JB Moonstar.
It's hard because every minute something pops up that you can't get away from. And the algorithms, I don't even see the people I follow. They don't, I get 20, 30 things that I don't want to see. And for my mental well-being.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I only go there. I go there once in a while because my son puts some stuff up there, but I'm sorry.
Hey, they can talk to you at your website, and that's key.
Yeah, they can reach me at my website. I'd be glad to get in touch with them.
Yeah. Wonderful. And if they ever needed to, they could always write to Four Horsemen, and at Four Horsemen, they will absolutely pass it along to you as well. Yeah. So, JB, this was really lovely. Thank you so much for being on. Best of luck with these books. I can't wait to see where they go. Last question. What have you got coming up?
I've got Kenta and the Search for Hope, which Kenta is a boy in Southeast Asia who is helping his father on a report mission to look at the macaques, monkeys that we talked about. Mm-hmm. And he finds a baby pangolin. And so the plot of the story is to find the mom, who's already been taken but still alive, and get them and the monkeys that they have poached, and get them back home before they get taken out of the country.
Perfect. So when that one is available for pre-order, you can get 15% off at fourhorsemanpublications.com. All right, JB, thank you so much for being on. Best of luck to you. I can't wait to see where these series go. And, save the world one book at a time, right?
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Take care.